Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face while you're sleeping. Most people today are terrified of bugs and spooked by rodents, when our ancestors snacked on those to survive. Early men had to compete for food and shelter against large and powerful predators that could easily overpower them. Although these animals have long since gone extinct, each fossil we discover creates an image of a period that was something of a nightmare. This was a time when bull-sized rodents, elephant-sized snakes, giant bloodthirsty reptilians, and other predators roamed the earth freely and rained terror for millions of years. In this video, we're going to show you some of those animals. So, get a breathing bag or something, and let us walk you through the zoo of extinct animals you'll be glad don't exist anymore. Number 10. Bigfoot. Ever hear the legends of mysterious, oversized ape-men roaming the woods? Those giant humanoid forest dwellers came to be widely known as Bigfoot in North America, and Snowman or Yeti in the Himalaya. Forensic evidence and fossils discovered in China, India, and Vietnam was perhaps the most compelling proof that Bigfoot was real. Although the fossils discovered were few and scattered, scientists were able to complete the reconstruction of a hefty primate that fits Bigfoot's description. It is estimated that these large and shaggy ancient apes lived on Earth 12 million years ago and inhabited Asia until 300,000 years ago when they all vanished. Based on the teeth and several jaws collected across Asia, the prehistoric primates have been closely linked to the modern apes and orangutans. These massive primates are estimated to have measured 3 meters or 10 feet, with an arm span of about 3.7 meters or 12 feet. That's twice the size of a grown man. But to be fair, the hefty primates have been described as shy creatures who fed primarily on vegetation. So, would you take a selfie with them? Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you'll get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it. It really works. Number 9. Gigantic bear. What if we told you that bears are not mean or ferocious animals? Yeah, that'll take us the whole day to convince you, especially if you've ever been attacked by one. However, studies on the ecology and behavior of bears have shown that they have no desire to interact with or attack humans. Yet we're still terrified by these magnificent creatures. While black bears and brown bears may be shy and cautious, white polar bears and sloths will only attack when provoked. But the same cannot be said for their gigantic relatives who lived and hunted on Earth about 2 million years ago. These were the giant short-faced bears who inhabited North America until 11,000 years ago. They would grow up to 4.3 meters standing and weighed up to 1,600 kilograms. The modern-day mature grizzly bear weighs 272 kilograms. You'll be glad these gigantic bears became extinct not just because of their huge size, but also their taste for meat. They were not opportunistic omnivores like their modern-day relatives. It was estimated that a mature male short-faced bear would munch out on 20 kilograms of meat daily. They were the biggest and baddest meat eaters on Earth at the time. And boy, you don't even want to imagine what an encounter with one of these giant bears would look like. Number 8. Huge dragonflies. The largest insects known to have lived on Earth resembled a dragonfly. But those supersized dragonflies were nothing like the harmless, present-day dragonflies we see today. Fossils discovered in 1880 and later periods up to 1939 were reconstructed and gave a clearer image of the prehistoric insect. Scientists named the insect they discovered youre due to their characteristic large nerves on their wings. These were the predators that ruled the skies during their time, 300 million years ago. They inhabited the edges of water bodies, where they would prey on smaller insects and amphibians, who are now 20 times larger than their present-day relatives. They had powerful mandibles and spiny legs for grabbing and holding larger prey that would attempt to struggle. And because their wings spanned a little under a meter long, they were able to fly with their prize to a safe place where they could enjoy their meal. It seems unlikely that these huge dragonflies would have enjoyed human meat, but we cannot say they wouldn't have been a giant bother. I mean, how do you even swat such a bug? With a tennis racket? Number 7. Ratzilla. Rats are bad news, but giant rats are a thing of nightmares. No, we're not talking about the 40-centimeter rat caught by the Swedish family in Stockholm, although that's really, really terrifying. While such tremendous rats are scary, they are no match for the bull-sized rats that lived on Earth about 3 million years ago. Owing to their sheer size, people gave these guys the name Ratzilla, alluding to their strength, although their scientific name goes something like Josephoartzagazia monezi. From the fossils discovered, scientists estimate that these prehistoric rodents would grow up to 3 meters long and weigh about 1 ton. A very tall bull measures about 2 meters and weighs slightly over a half of a ton. For a rodent to measure almost the same size as a bull must be really terrifying. I mean, present-day rats are a nuisance, tiny as they are. How do you get rid of a mischief of those fearsome ratzillas? Number 6. Mighty large eagles. These were the largest eagles that ever lived on Earth. Fossil records of these large birds of prey were described and named by Julius Haast in 1871. Haast eagles, as they would become called, were estimated to weigh only 15 kilograms, but would hunt prey more than 10 times their weight. They had a massive body size of 2 meters, beaked rectrices with broad 3-meter wingspans. As you can imagine, these eagles had strong, sharp talons, muscular legs, and powerful flight muscles. Thanks to their keen focus, the Haast eagles were able to detect their victims from more than 4 kilometers away. They were very sneaky, coming out of nowhere to grab its prey and carrying them into the sky. They mostly attack large flightless birds found in New Zealand known as moa. These large eagles terrorized the skies and islands of New Zealand for about 2 million years, until the early human settlers arrived and hunted down the moa into extinction around the year 1400. Legend has it that when the moa became extinct, the Haast eagles started preying on children to survive. But this didn't carry on for long before the massive eagles eventually died out, thankfully. It would have been hard to let the kids play outside in the yard if these things were still flying around. Number 5. Giant goannas. Living between 1.5 million years ago and 40,000 years ago in southern Australia were giant squamates that resembled the Komodo dragons. Only these prehistoric giant goannas were pumped up with 7 meters long, snout to tail, and weighed about 2 tons. They were the largest species of lizard to have ever existed. Paleontologists dubbed these gigantic lizards with the name Megalania prisca, which means great ancient roamers. But these ruled the bushes of Australia. Judging from their bulk, size, and dentition, these were vicious and formidable hunters who were able to swallow their prey whole. And if that's not dreadful enough, their saliva was believed to be venomous, making its bite very lethal. Nobody would want to tangle with such a lizard. Fortunately, you won't encounter any of these super lizards since they went extinct about 40,000 years ago. However, the earliest Aboriginal people to arrive in Australia may not have been so lucky. Number 4. Meter-long piranhas. Piranhas are as ferocious as they look. They are incredibly aggressive and very capable predators who hunt in groups in the waters. Thanks to their speed, super strong jaws, and razor-sharp teeth, they can shred through the flesh of their prey in a matter of seconds. Piranhas grow to be just 25 centimeters long, but that's not to say the small size makes them any less lethal. Having these things in larger sizes would be utterly terrifying, to say the least. Yet, fossil records of South America show that monster piranhas, as long as 1 meter and weighing up to 15 kilograms, dubbed mega piranhas, once inhabited the waters. We're not talking about the large bioengineered piranhas you've seen in B films of the 80s. These are real monster piranhas that reigned terror in rivers, lakes, and reservoirs in the late Miocene period, 10 to 6 million years ago. Mega piranhas fed on gigantic fish, crocs, and snakes, and they would have very much enjoyed human flesh. Thankfully, we won't get to test that horrific theory. Number 3. T-Rex killing Mega Croc. For a crocodile to battle with the king of dinosaurs and win, it must be one massive croc. Such were the giant crocodilians that lived about 80 million years ago. Scientifically, these mega crocs were known as Dinosuchus, which means terrible crocodile. And they did live up to their name, striking terror into the heart of even the mightiest dinosaurs to ever walk the earth. Although these ancient crocs generally look like the modern crocodiles and alligators, they were so much larger, estimated to measure at 12 meters with large, sharp teeth. Just to put the size of this thing into perspective, the modern-day saltwater crocodiles, claimed to be the largest living crocodilians, rarely grew past 4.5 meters. That makes ancient megacroc nearly 3 times larger. Like the present-day crocodile species, the megacrocs were opportunistic predators. They were capable of ambushing and submerging T-Rexes and other unwary dinosaurs at the water edges. Once they had their large prey clamped down in their powerful jaws, they would perform the death roll, guaranteeing their kill. Now it's time for today's best pick. We have a picture sent to us by a subscriber just like you. It shows a fearsome-looking giant sea creature that looks like the ultimate killing machine. Let's find out what it is. Remember, if you have a picture online and would like to know more about it, you can always send it over to us, and we'll be glad to do the digging for you. Number 2. Ginormous shelled squid. Given how little is known about the deep sea, does it come as a surprise that giant creatures once lived in the deep waters? 450 million years ago, the waters of Ratzilla, Baltic, and Siberia were home to a giant squid, measuring about the length of a telephone pole, or about half as long as a cricket pitch. It is believed to be the ancient ancestor of the modern squids and octopi. It had a distinctive cone-like shell and long tentacles that were part of its defense and offense system. Due to its enormous rigid shell, the creature was given the name Camaraceris, which means chambered horn. This shell weighed in on the giant squid so much that maneuverability was a problem. Unable to move across the sea floor, the enormous shelled squid would lay in wait to ambush unlucky sea predators. So next time you go swimming in the sea, just remember that a lot is going on under the sea waters that we don't yet know about. The Camaraceris is long extinct, but other sea creatures would be thrilled to add you to their menu. Number 1. The largest snake ever. Imagine a serpent that makes anacondas look like the garter snake commonly found in gardens and yards. That would be a super serpent, a real-life nightmare. Such monstrous snakes were once slithering on swampy jungles of South America 60 million years ago. They weighed about 2.5 tons and would span over 14 meters. The largest snakes today are barely half the size of the prehistoric monster snake. Fossilized remains of the super snake were discovered in northern Colombia. Researchers estimate that the fossils they found dated back to the Pliocene epoch, and that the ancient super snakes were distant relatives of the boa constrictors and the anaconda. Although these snakes have been said not to be venomous, you still don't want an encounter with these hissing bad boys. They killed their prey by crushing them, pretty much like with modern boa constrictors. With a constricting force of 400 pounds per square inch, they were able to squash and swallow whole giant crocodiles, alligators, and large turtles that shared their territory. It's pretty obvious why you should be glad they don't exist anymore. Hey, you made it to the end of the video, but we'd love to see you again. If you click the subscribe and bell buttons, we'll always notify you when a fantastic video just like this one comes up. We have a lot more that you will enjoy.